All right. This is my first YouTube live ever. I just decided that this is a good format now to record this video because I want to record me and I want to post it on YouTube. So why not go live here? The topic of this video is how can we co-create the new Earth? What is important to, in the most effective way, create a new Earth, the new Earth? So let's first take a moment to establish what do I mean by the new Earth. This is a word or label that is used by a lot of people to describe basically their vision of a future where they feel really excited to live, where we have, a lot more community and people who love what they're doing for a living, not so much stress and fear and disease. Yeah, people can express themselves. There's freedom of speech, freedom of like wherever you want to live. We eat amazing, healthy foods. So that kind of, is the new Earth. And it might look different for people a little bit, but here's the first step. We need to get clear if we want the same thing or a similar thing. And what I have experienced and what I see is yes, we do. Almost everyone, if you ask them about what the perfect world would look like, would describe something that's very similar. Now, why is this important to get clear on that? Because the problem that I see, and I saw it in myself with a friend of mine, is that we end up disagreeing on things and we end up in discussions that eat up our resources, our time, and we feel like disconnected from this other person without realizing that they want the same thing as us, which is this new Earth. So, okay, what are the steps? What is important? If you realize you are arguing with someone, and I give you an example. For example, that capitalism is bad. We need to do something about it. That Facebook is bad, technology is bad. And maybe you have an opinion like, no, that Facebook itself is not really the problem, right? And then you can lose yourself in discussion about that, where I'm defending my point, this other person defending their point, and it's not helpful at all. So the first step is to kind of zoom out and ask about what do you really want? Why is that important to you, this thing? What happens after that? What do you hope to get out of the thing that you're complaining about, for example? And then most likely you will notice this person describes something that you also really resonate with. They might use different words, a different angle on the same object. If this is the new Earth, then maybe I describe it from this perspective, where I see those things first and I use specific words. Someone else comes from another angle, but ultimately describes the same new Earth where we all feel happy and fulfilled and there's a lot of love and health, um, and freedom. Now, if that's settled, if you and whoever you want to co-create with or whoever you meet that you might potentially co-create with, you establish that actually your long-term vision for humanity, for the planet, is very similar to mine. So that's good. Then the second thing to agree on is there's not one solution. There's no one straightforward thing that is most important. It's very important to realize that that this is really true, because intellectually we all know, like, yeah, of course, we can't only do one thing. We have a lot of different challenges, from like violence, wars, domestic abuse, to climate change, to mental health issues, like people killing themselves, suicides, not clean drinking water, like using up resources, whatever. There's a lot of stuff. But now here's the tricky part. We all think that what we think is the most important is really the most important. And this is, why we can get into a conflict with someone or into a discussion, an argument, who has the same end goal. First, often we don't really talk about the end goal, and then we get triggered because we're like, why is this person so concerned about capitalism if the real problem is people have no spiritual connection, or the mental health issues? Because we are assuming that the stuff that I am focusing on is more important than what they focus on. Why is that? Because we are all biased. Because maybe you read a book about the problem with, I don't know, early childhood education, and then you think, oh, this is the main issue. If we solve that, everything will be better. Like, we should all focus on that. And you try to tell everyone, like, hey, you need to do this, you need to do this. Or if there's any form of disease spreading, then we need to do this. This is the most important thing to solve that. So we're all biased. Because maybe we just have more information, more knowledge about this one particular part of it, or maybe because of our own experience. If we struggled with, let's say, sleep, and we didn't have good sleep, and then it destroyed our whole life basically, and it was so difficult, we got angry, and then we might think, hey, so many people don't have good sleep. We should all focus on that. This is so important. And then if you talk to someone who is really concerned about climate change because they just watch documentaries about that, they're like, what are you talking about sleep? We need to fight climate change. And then we have that clash again, not realizing that there is not one most important thing, and we're all biased. So basically, if we have those realizations, we get clear on that what we want is really ultimately the same. We all want freedom, peace, all of those things, safety, and that the difference is just in our approach. And that's ultimately something that's really good, because there is no one thing that we need to take care of. There are many. We also need many different people taking care of many different things at the same time. And then, instead of kind of getting into an argument, we could shift the focus on, what is your thing? How do you want to help humanity? Like, if you could tell every single person one thing that they should become aware of, what would you say? And maybe it's to consume less. We don't need to consume so much. Or maybe it's to look at your trauma. Or maybe it's to have more time in nature, in real nature. Or to eat more healthy food. To look after your family more. To meditate and just become more mindful and aware. And then all of a sudden we can share what we want to bring forward, and then we can see, is there a possibility for co-creation? Is there any other way we can support each other, knowing that we are walking into the same direction? We want the same thing. We all want to create a new earth. Yeah. And to share my angle on it, I do believe that the level of consciousness is very important, to look at that and to do things to help people become more conscious. Their spiritual development, I personally see as one of the most important things. So that's what I focus on in my work, what I'm really passionate about. But I know there's so much more, right? There is, like physical issues and diseases, and we need to get better at them. Many things need to happen at the same time. Like, the political structures are maybe not serving us anymore, so someone needs to do something about that. That's not my focus, even though I see, there's also, it's necessary and there's value in it. And I'm sharing it because I personally had this discussion with someone, and it was really like kind of annoying. Like, you don't get it. Like, I don't get it. You don't get it. And it took a while and quite a bit of talking to finally realize, oh, like, you want exactly the same as me, so that's really good. And you just have a different angle that you look at this whole thing because of your past, the knowledge, your books you read. All right, that's it for this video. Yeah, maybe to recap one more time, it's important to realize that, I mean, maybe everyone, almost everyone, wants the same thing. You know, a life, a reality where we can be free, we can express ourselves, we can be safe. Um, we have everything we need, we have community. That's one thing. Then the second one is that a lot of things have to happen to get there, um, to yeah, solve all the different challenges that we have. So we need different people doing different things at the same time, and to realize that we are always biased, that we think that what I want to do, what I want to focus on is the most important. Like that is part of the human nature, our ego mind. Like I know best, you know, because if you would think something else would be more important, you wouldn't defend this point so much. So yeah, that's it. I hope that resonated with you. I hope it makes sense, and I hope it helps you next time you see yourself kind of in a discussion or argument with someone to, you know, maybe take a step back and then ask some of the questions that I presented you with today, and at the end of the conversation be like, oh, this is amazing, we're actually in the same team. You have this goal, I have this goal. Maybe we even have goals that we share and we can really co-create more closely. That's what I hope to achieve with that video. And yeah, if you want to connect with me, there's a link to my Instagram in the descriptions. I would love to hear what your priority is, what you think is most important, what your version of the new or vision of the new Earth looks like. Yeah, I'm really excited to do more co-creation and to inspire as many people as possible to kind of, you know, have a positive outlook, know what we want, and then do something about it instead of just complaining how shitty things are. All right, that's it. I'm out. Thanks for watching. Peace.